Hello to all, and welcome to episode 59 of the MR Runningpains podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Saft, and we have had a collection of calamity, to say the least, with guests that I had lined up. So I've had to postpone each of my planned guests, and I'm just going to go over the Umstead 100 and how that went. So kind of walk you through the race, goods, bads, highs, lows, and everything up to the finish. So, where to start? I guess we'll start at the beginning. Friday, the day before the race, I was nice and relaxed, taking care of everything. Got my run in. I went to some old trails that I used to run in college at Shank Forest. I posted about those on social media. It was really cool to kind of go through there and just kind of reminisce and be nostalgic about a lot of the runs that we had there and some of the memories and all. So really nice. And then went over to Packet Pickup and brought my crew and pacer, Nathan Frantz. He and I went over there and kind of checked things out and got our we were allowed to put up a pop-up tent, and we brought some of the supplies out so that that was all ready for race day, because we had a 6 a.m. start. So we got everything all set and ready to go, and walked around a little bit, kind of got a feel for how the race would start, and asked any questions that I had, and got a good visual of things, and I was good for Saturday morning. So we went back to the hotel and grabbed some food, and I got my pack ready and made sure that my bib number was on my shorts and secure and good. Made sure I had everything lined up for the next day. All the boxes were ready. We put some of the stuff in the car so that we didn't have to do too much in the morning. And then kind of woke up naturally in the morning, about 3 a.m., something like that. Started to get myself kind of cleaned up and ready to go, and went down and got some coffee. Didn't really have anything to eat race morning because my wife was she's right, usually sits pretty heavy on my stomach. So and I do all my long runs fasted, so just went with what I was used to, because most times in the past when I have a breakfast pre-race, I usually have some digestional problems and a heavy stomach to start. So just went with what I was used to, which turned out to be just fine. And we got over to the race start area. It was obviously still dark, and made sure that tent was still there, and brought just a few supplies over. Made one load carry over. Nathan and I, we were restricted by COVID to one crew member, and then we could have a pacer starting on lap 5. I had thought it was going to be lap 6, but they had said lap 5 or 6 p.m., whichever came first. So if I got to lap 5 before 6 p.m., I was allowed to take on a pacer. And at that point, I was allowed to have both a crew and a pacer. So I had a friend from Wilmington, Aaron Colt, come, and they were going to alternate duties between crewing and pacing, which was great. So Aaron would come later in the day. So anyhow, Nathan and I just waited around for the start. They did a time trial start, which was kind of interesting. Starting at 6 a.m., a runner went off every 5 seconds. We all had our headlights on, and some people actually, they didn't wear headlights because we had a full moon at the time, or pretty close to full, so it was illuminated, I guess, enough to run without a headlamp. And but anyhow, I was bib number 14, so we got into corrals. We were spaced 6 feet to our side apart, and 7 feet front to back apart. And then we just kept moving up, and Chris, one of the race directors, let us go every 5 seconds. Which was, like I said, it was challenging in its own way because we started out already alone. Usually, you start a race and you've got people with you. I started alone from the start, which was really weird. I had one gentleman pass me, and he didn't seem to want to run with me. So, I was alone. And, in the dark, headlamp on, and we've got like a little out and back. So, you get to see folks. A few people had kind of clustered up and got together to run, and I just settled into my pace. I was looking to run between 9 minutes to 9:30 a mile, and wanted to take the first lap super easy. So I just settled in, made sure that I was not going too hard, and we were all kind of cheering each other on, and I saw some folks I knew and cheered them on. Some of my athletes were running, so that was kind of cool to wish them well. And then we got onto the course where there would be just one-way traffic, and so we were all just you could see a string of headlights and running through, and Umstead's it's rolling hills, never really, too long sustained. I mean, maybe 3/4 of a mile, of a long grade, but never too long, never too steep. There was some steeper hills in the back, and I'll get to those, but I made my way. There's an aid station at about mile 3.5, and obviously didn't need anything there, so I just kept going, and didn't have any music or anything on, just kind of wanted to relax the first lap and kind of get a feel for the loop. Came, down this nice descent, and then the 3/4 mile hills, it's kind of about mile 4 into the loop. So, I was wondering how a long hill like that would feel, getting late into the race. I wondered if I should walk a little bit more early, but I was, feeling fine, and, kind of just jogged up nice and easy. Didn't worry about if I was slow or fast. Well, I wasn't fast, so that wasn't really a problem. But, made my way up, and then the course kind of has a nice little, undulating, but mostly downhill to the next aid station, which is right before mile 7 in the loop. The loop is 12.5 miles long, for those of you who don't know, and about 1,000 feet of gain. Again, didn't really need anything, just kind of said hi to the volunteers, and, it's really the only kind of contact I had with any people. And then made my way into the back section, which, again, that's the more hilly section. It had definitely 2 hills in the back that were consistently walked for me. The first one was pretty steep to start out, and I just walked and made sure that I wasn't straining or anything like that. I'd already started at about 30 or 35 minutes taking my gels, and I was drinking on Tailwind about every 10 minutes or so, just taking a sip off my flasks. I had gone with the Ultra Aspire Revolt pack, which the Revolt pack is the old version of the Basham, the Ultra Aspire Basham. So I have the old one, which I purchased on a deep discount online, the long version of it. So it hangs a little bit lower, so it's easier. There's a horizontal bottle across the lower lumbar. And you can also put another bottle vertically between your shoulder blades. So I was able to carry 2 flasks, and all my gels in the front and everything. I mean, it's generous enough to carry everything I needed. Didn't have to overstuff the pockets or anything. So was a great vest for this run. I really was happy with that choice. And I'll talk about some switch outs and stuff that I did later in the run. But it was working fine, and nutrition was going down, no problem. Got back on my first loop, and you kind of check in. So on your way up to check in, my tent was there, so I threw Nathan my trash, and then checked in, came back down. He grabbed my empty bottle, gave me a new bottle, new gels, and off on lap 2. Lap 2, pretty uneventful. The sun was up. I got rid of my headlamp after lap 1, and just kind of I threw my hat on. 'Cause, like I said, the sun was up, and went out for lap 2. Also grabbed my music. Was feeling a little bit, just like I needed something on lap 2. So grabbed my music and turned my music on, and instantaneously, I guess music just has that effect on me. I know it doesn't have that effect on all, but I just my playlist just was it was spot on. Just really happy, bouncy music, and I was singing along, and people were laughing, obviously, because here I am running and singing, and just really enjoying being out there. Just I really had a good positive vibe that second lap. Just moving right along, no problems. Again, just, able to run on the long climb, the 3/4 mile climb, and, got down into the aid station around, mile 7 into the loop, which is about 19.5 miles into the race. And, wasn't quite feeling like I needed anything still. So again, kept moving. And I think I stopped to, they had Porta Johns there, so I think I stopped there, and then kept going. And, again, walk the hills was fine, no problems. Kept moving my way around. Noticed that it was starting to get a little bit warm. Was trying to figure out how to keep myself cooler. We weren't sure what the temperatures were going to do that day. We knew we'd probably have some storms at some point. So, I had rain gear just in case, and I had backup gear for rain. But the other thing that I did notice was that, I chose to start in the Hoka Mach 4. They just felt, the best on my feet, but, getting into, lap 2, which would bring me up to 25 miles, something wasn't right. I don't know, it wasn't feeling good. It wasn't feeling fluid. So, I got back, and, I told Nathan, I said, I'd like to switch into the Topo, Ultrafly. And I chose the Drymax socks. Went the old Sage Canaday sock. They don't sell it anymore, but it's a great moisture wicker, especially with the humidity of Raleigh. So I went with those for my socks for this run. And I said, I'd also like to switch into my waist belt, and just to kind of stay a little bit cooler. So, I checked in, came back down, ditched my shirt, switched into my belt, and kind of lubed up, where the belt would go on the front, but didn't think to lube my back. So I went shirtless, with a belt, and then the belt was the Synaptic by Ultra Aspire, which I had trained with. Just has one bottle, but it seemed like I could fill up fluids, quickly enough along the course that I wouldn't, there was that miles 3.5 aid station where I could grab Gatorade if I needed it, and then at 7 again I could fuel up, and then I would hit the 3.5 mile aid station. You hit again on the loop, so again I could fill up if I needed to. That's about like 2.5 miles from the finish, so I figured I'd be okay with one bottle. And everything was still going down well. I did take some other fuel, with me. I started consuming some more real food. I didn't seem to be getting the the energy I needed out of the gels. I was subsisting off of the spring Canterbury and the spring Awesome Sauce. And I mean, they were tasty, going down fine, but I don't know, my body wasn't responding with the the amount of energy that I thought was normal for me. So started, like I said, eating some more real food aside from the gels and the Tailwind. Just trying to problem solve with the heat. So ditched the hat, ditched the shirt, switched to a belt so I would kind of cool off a little bit more. We got moving around, and lap 3, again, went by no problem. Did take a little bit more nutrition from the aid stations, just kind of picked up some knickknacks, some snacks along the route there, and made it around, and got in, and the belt had chafed my back, right above my bum. I had some good chafing, and the humidity was actually really starting to bug me. I was wearing the Rabbit FKT 5-inch shorts, and for whatever reason, I've never had a problem with those in the past, but I was really, having getting some hot spots. So I kept applying squirrel nut butter, in the undercarriage to try to resolve that. But it just didn't seem to be working. Like I said, it was super humid, so my shorts were really wet, and it just seemed like the seam, I usually wear a 7-inch, so maybe that's part of it, but the seam on the 5-inch was really kind of just abrasive, if you will. I'm not sure. Like I said, I've never had that problem in the past, but maybe it was just because it was the 5-inch and not the 7-inch. But I was getting, some really rub there. So when I got in at 3, I took off the belt and threw on my pack again with a new shirt. And then I pulled out my Boudreaux's butt paste. Boudreaux's butt paste is zinc oxide based, so it doesn't wear off as fast. And I just applied liberally, down my leg, everywhere that I was having problems. I carried the squirrel nut butter with me, so I still had that, just in case I had another hot spot pop up, which I was using on the laps. But I was hoping the Boudreaux's would help a little bit. But like I said, it was just so humid. And then lap 4, that's like, things were okay. I was actually moving well, climbing well, passing people actually. And then I got up that 3/4 mile climb and was heading down towards the 7-mile aid station. And I don't know what happened there. I guess, maybe my electrolytes had just fallen too far behind, because it just popped out of nowhere. I just got super dizzy. I kept like veering to the left, and then I figured, somehow I figured out if I closed my left eye, I could stay straight. Whatever reason, if I opened my left eye, I just wanted to start going left. I was really dizzy. It was just strangest thing. So I got to the aid station, and just before the aid station, I saw 2 of my athletes that had just happened to go for a run there. So Robin and Tori were there, and they're like, "Aaron, how are you doing?" And I didn't recognize them at first because I was just so out of it like I said, it just all hit me at once. It was really, it felt so strange. And they could tell I wasn't right. And I was like, "Oh, Tori, Robin, how are you?" I was like, "I'm not doing so well." I'm really dizzy. But, they got me, to the aid station. The volunteers were asking, what can we do? And I said, well, do you have a med tent? Is there a doctor or anybody here that can take a look? Because for some reason, I'm really dizzy. There was, there wasn't anybody, the medical professional there at the time, but, so I just laid down. Thankfully, Robin is a nurse, and she started texting one of the other guys, John, he's a physician's assistant, and John was like, it sounds like his electrolytes are behind, and start pumping him with some Gatorade, and we tried some pickle juice and potato chips, and then we finally got a hold of my wife, and she said the same. Let's just try, keep that up and just relax. They threw, put some ice on me. I didn't feel overheated. That's the thing. I did not feel overheated or anything like that. like I said, I got really dizzy. So I laid there for, I don't know, probably a good hour or so, just trying to, beat this dizzy spell. I heard people coming through. The lap before, lap 3, I had kind of come across Rick Gray, who, if you don't know Rick Gray, he's amazing. I hope he will come on the podcast at some point. Rick was out there for his 10th Umstead, so trying to finish his 10th Umstead, his 1,000-mile buckle, which was really cool. So I saw him and just kind of stopped and walked with him. I at that point, I just really wanted that contact, that human contact. I really, I knew Rick was such a positive individual, and it was so needed. So I walked with him for about a mile. We walked into the start-finish area together. So I forgot to mention, I really appreciated that moment, just getting to see him. And I got to see his new wife, Michelle Gray. She's formerly Michelle McClellan. She's also an amazing runner in her own right. She was out at the turnaround aid station. It's not really an aid station, just a check-in. But anyhow, seeing the two of them really lifted my spirits. I'd be remiss to not mention those two. So that was in lap 3, and then I heard Rick go by when I was down in the aid station, and I was like, oh man, like I lost so much time, not to say that Rick was moving so much slower, but it made me realize like how much time had gone by. And I was just, I knew there was nothing I could do but resolve this, because I wasn't going to go forward if I didn't resolve it. So I took the time, whatever was needed. We just kept, like I said, the fluids going down. I don't know, I had like 2 or 3 cups of pickle juice and potato chips, and Tori grabbed some salt tabs she had, which I usually don't do, but she had these salt stick chewable tablets, and I popped one of those, and actually, I think the combination of everything plus the salt tab just finally got me back to where I needed to be. And all of a sudden I could, open that left eye and not feel like I was going to fall to my left. I felt normal. And they are like, wow, you just really all of a sudden just perked up. And I was like, yeah, actually I feel normal again. And so they watched me for a little bit longer, and I said, I think I'm good to go. And so got back out on the course. I walked for a mile, met 2 very nice women. It's really cool. They were total strangers at the beginning of the race, but realizing they were moving the same rate, they decided to move on together. One was doing the 50 mile; it was her first 50, and the other was doing her first 100. So I hope that both of you had found your way to your respective finishes. And so I walked and talked with them for a while, and that was that back hilly section. I got through about a mile after the aid station, and then I said, okay, I think I'm okay to start jogging. So I started running again, and still was cautious, making sure that dizzy spell didn't come back, and was really more focused on my fluid intake. I knew as soon as I got back that was the completion of lap 4, and I could take on a pacer at the start of lap 5. So I was excited by that prospect to bring Nathan out, and have somebody to run with. Because like I said, other than the few times I walked and talked with some of the other runners, I had really been alone for 50 miles. So, I got back in, and I was like, I could really use like a, grilled ham and cheese or something like that. So, went to go check in, and Nathan cooked that up. And I got back down, and Nathan was ready to go. Aaron was there, so he took over crewing duties, and they were going to alternate. They were going to do. Nathan was going to go 1 lap, and then Aaron was going to go 2, so he could get home, and then Nathan would finish out with me. But it ended up working that we alternated Nathan Aaron, which was great. It was nice to kind of have them take a break, and then I had somebody new out, and we just started fresh conversations. But lap 4, having somebody with me, race really turned around from that point forward. Just was really focused on making sure I was eating and drinking really well. That fifth lap, we had a severe thunderstorm and 2 lightning strikes, a little too close to home for us. Nathan and I were like, "Oh my gosh," it was torrential downpour. So I mean, we were soaked, absolutely soaked. So when we got back to the start finish area after lap 5, I said let's switch shoes again, I switched back to I said let's switch to the Topo Cyclones, and a new pair of socks. So everything being soaking wet, we switched over got into some fresh shoes and socks. Dried off my feet, made sure that was okay. Reapplied some lube, make sure I was good there because we were expecting more rain as the time wore on. So I grabbed some Snicker bar and Tootsie Roll candy bars, and packed those in as well because, like I said, the gels just didn't seem to be working for me. Plan A went out the window, so we were going to Plan B, and just started relying a little bit more on the aid station food. The switch shoes and socks was great. Feet felt fine. I could tell something was going on with the big toe, but it wasn't painful, but something was definitely, it felt like I might lose the big toenail after the race was done. But, we got in from lap 5, switched the shoes. Aaron came out with me, and I was a little bit quiet to start. We're now, just over 100K into the race. Usually when I get quiet and stuff like that, I know, I'm probably behind on my calories. So, I tossed down a Snickers bar. I had some chicken and soup from the aid station at the start finish area. So was just trying to really consume some calories, and that seemed to really bounce me back. Nathan and I had run really well on lap 5. I think I had only walked like maybe 3 times on some of the hills. But lap 6 now, once I had that down, actually went really well. We ran, I think, most of the loop and only walked 2 of the hills in that back section. I was, going into the aid stations, purposefully grabbing specific things, specific food, definitely, some soup broth to make sure that I kept that electrolytes up. I was trying to stay on the pickle juice just to, make sure that, because it was still a bit warm, make sure those electrolytes stayed high. And I chewed on those salt tabs that Tori had given me. I did about 1 per lap, just kind of keeping everything, consistent. And like I said, moving well, feeling good, actually really good. This is probably the best I had felt all race was lap 6. And then we got back in lap 7, had some more food, some real food, and I had tossed down some donuts and stuff like that. Just trying to get calories in again, just whatever would go down. I think I had a hot dog after that lap. Like I said, just really trying to eat some calories. And so Nathan came out for lap 7. No gear changes there, just refresh of the bottle and some snack foods and stuff. But lap 7, again, moving really well, just running really well. We were kind of watching the live results and seeing where I was, and I was moving back up, which was awesome. I was in the top 10, and again, feeling really good. Just filling up my bottle with Gatorade at the aid stations, making sure I stayed on top of the fluid intakes and at the aid stations with food, just kind of, going through and kind of perusing, seeing what would go down and what I could eat, and just taking whatever I could and kind of gobbling it, walking while we ate and just letting it settle. And then, kind of, getting back into it. I did have some of the lentil soup. I didn't realize it was lentil because lentil usually doesn't do so well on my stomach. So I drank the broth and then realized it was lentil. So all I did was drink the broth and then, toss the rest out. It was the first time my stomach kind of felt a bit unsettled. So I had some ginger chews with me. So I popped one of those, and had some soda. I had kind of switched over to soda, I think on lap like 6. So, wanted to keep the soda coming. So I was drinking some Mountain Dew or Pepsi whenever it was available, just because, when you start that, you don't want to stop. So, the ginger juice seemed to settle my stomach, and just excited, lap 7 here, you moving around, moving back up, being competitive, and new lap 8 was coming, last lap. Here comes the bell lap. So, got in, made a quick change. Aaron was ready to go. We were getting some rain again, but, I was just, I was focused. I was ready. We knew where the runners were, where the most in reach runners were. I had, about 18 minutes to make up on the last lap. And I would get up to 7th place overall, and 6th male because Lee Jackson, she had run a fantastic race. Let me just Lee Jackson. She had placed 4th overall, first female, so crushed it. It was amazing watching her run all day, but I was 18 minutes down to the second female, Heather Doherty, and that was kind of I wanted to move up, not because it was a female, just I wanted to move up as many places as I could, and I felt like the way I was running, I possibly could make up 18 minutes or more, and so we set off, just looking to pick off the first runner who was 3 minutes ahead. That happened pretty quickly. We weren't even to the 3.5 mile aid station, and I had caught up. And then Patrick Early, who is one of my athletes' cousins, was up ahead and running a really strong race, and he was unfortunately the next one to come upon, and we came upon him just before the aid station at mile 7. It ran a solid race. He PR'd by like 4 hours that day, but we passed by him and cheered him on because he's just doing stellar. I was stoked for him. He was having a great race and just a really positive, awesome guy. So Patrick, tremendous job. And then actually we didn't realize it, but Heather had just come out of the aid station and we passed her, not realizing it was her at that 7 mile aid station. So I had passed everybody by 7 miles into the loop. And not realizing it, we ran that back section. I still walked those two climbs in the back, but I mean, we were running. Everybody's like, "Oh my god, dude! Like, what lap are you on?" I was like, "Last," and they were like, "Holy jeez," because I was just moving on the uphills. I felt really strong, felt really good. Was really encouraged by how things were going. So that was awesome. Really cool. I was really excited, Aaron was like, dude, relax, settle down. And I was like, no, I'm feeling good. It's all good. Like, we're almost done. And, he kept reminding me, keep drinking, make sure you get some sugar. We don't want you crashing, and, just kept everything up, kept going. And, we were, I was just closing in the miles, really focused, zoned in. Aaron would say something, and I was, huh? I just really, I was so focused. I was in the zone, just dialed in, and I felt my legs were awesome. Amazing for being close to the finish here. We're in the upper 90s, and my legs were, we started moving down back into 9 minute and under pace. Legs were really turning over well. Ran up one of the last climbs and took the turn, which is about a half mile from the finish, and that's just a sweet feeling to know you're about to finish a 100-miler. Aaron had said something earlier in the lap about somebody that got to like mile 99 and just couldn't finish, and it kind of got in my head a little bit, but I knew my legs were good, and I was gonna get to the finish line. We ran up that last hill and came across the finish line, and I definitely wanted to run faster, but given the day and everything that went on, I was still stoked to cross that finish line. Ran like 19 hours and we'll just say 19:20 or something like that. It was I was stoked to get the finish, to get the buckle. Just phenomenal. So many memories, so many cool people. My buddy Kyle Robideau, who's been on the podcast, visually impaired runner, he was out there. He got his finish in 25 hours. Really cool to see him out there pushing with his guides. That was so cool. Like I said, the females that were competed, Heather came in not long after me. She did phenomenal. So congratulations to her. Jackie Hunt Borsma. And I'm sorry, Jackie, if I butchered that last name, but she was out there. Jackie is she's an amputee, lost her leg to cancer. Given those conditions, it was phenomenal. Her official was 62 and a half miles, but really awesome seeing her out there. Just very inspirational. I think I told her how inspirational and phenomenal she was. Just, oh my God, there were so many cool people out there just doing amazing things. And that was, I think, the biggest takeaway for me was just the inspiration I drew, the motivation I drew from the other runners, just seeing them. And some of them just were so positive, and I drew on that positivity, and I tried to give it back, in the same vein, just stay upbeat, stay positive. I think this journey, it really, I said to, my best friend, Scott, I was the same person at the finish, that I was at the start. I was proud of the dark moments that I didn't let them turn into negativity. I think that's the biggest thing that we can do is just, stay positive, stay happy, stay joyful. That's hard. That's really hard, but that's one of the main lessons that I learned was, if you can stay joyful and positive and share your exuberance and draw off others, that makes the race so much easier, so much better when you're in that positive state of mind. There was such diversity out on that trail. Recognizing the different body types. So cool to see such amazing people doing such cool things. I can't tell you how flabbergasted I was just to be a part of that and see their journey and look up results and see their finishes. It's really cool. Joe, congratulations. If you're listening, Rick Gray, again, phenomenal 10-time finish. He sent me a picture of his gold buckle. So awesome. Like I said, just so amazing. It was truly a blessing just to be able to be out there and experience a 100-miler again. My last 100-miler was UTMB. I don't know what the future holds, so far as what races will be next. I'm on the wait list for Old Dominion and for Hard Rock. As I record this, this will come out on April 1st. Registration opens for Grindstone. Probably have to sign up for that if I don't get into Hard Rock to get my qualifier this year. It's just a joy and an honor, absolute honor to be able to keep doing this. Here I am, 43, going on 44 years old. I realized I didn't make it easy on myself. I picked up some weight over COVID, and realizing that, I'm going to start writing it. Jake Edmiston, who is a registered dietitian, he he's been on the podcast, and he's going to help me kind of dial my nutrition back in. My metabolism isn't what it used to be, and I still eat like like I was 20. I need to realize and make some changes and make things easier on myself. I realize that there are some things that I need to change, and I'm willing to make those changes just so running feels easier, and I can do and continue to do what I love to do. So that's my story. I really hope I shared some things that that you can learn from. We finished about 2 a.m. and we really just kind of packed it up, got in the car and drove back to the hotel, got cleaned up and went to bed, and then woke up the next morning and had a good breakfast. Just walked around a little bit. I wasn't too bad. Like I said, I'm gonna lose that left big toenail. That's the worst of my wears. A little bit of swelling in my feet and my calves, but I'm gonna take a little bit of time off, kind of reset a little bit. Eager to find out what's going on next. But thank you for sharing this journey with me. It's not always about the destination. I realized that the journey here was a majority of it. The training was phenomenal. I enjoyed my training. I think I was in really good shape for this. It's just the factors you just can't control sometimes. Maybe I should have been a little bit more diligent on my electrolytes. I tried to keep up on them afterwards, but I just didn't realize it at the time, first hot weekend. But I want to thank all the people at Umstead, from the race staff to the volunteers. Especially want to thank my crew and pacers, Nathan Frantz and Aaron Kolk, for their assistance. Tori, Robin, John, thank you for getting me back on the course. The volunteers were just amazing. They were so cool and so encouraging, and all the other runners, whether you finished or not, just amazing that you even had the courage to toe the line and be out there. I hope you can find your finish line if you didn't find it this past time. The Umstead, it's a great race. If you can get in the mentality of doing laps, it's just a great event. I really think they have it dialed in. I'll put their website in the show notes. But the race is usually late March, early April each year. It is a lottery. But if you can do it, I do suggest it. It's a beautiful race, beautiful people. I want to thank them for giving me these memories. And thank you all for listening. The newsletter's coming out. April newsletter will be coming out. Just going to have a few write-ups and hopefully some helpful things for you guys. Talk about, as always, gear reviews, shoe reviews, training tips, all that kind of stuff. So newsletter will be coming out. If you don't subscribe, head over to my website, mrrunningpains.com, and subscribe. All the other podcasts and newsletters are archived on there under the Connect page. So, feel free to check that out. You can follow me on Strava, Aaron Saft, MR Runningpains on Strava. Ask questions along the way. Feel free to reach out to me by email, runningpains@gmail.com. Coaching is getting pretty full for me. That is still looking for some runners. So if you're looking for a coach, you can definitely reach out to us. You can find our contact on the MR Runningpains podcast website. Follow along on other social medias as well. All that stuff's in the show notes. Big thank you to Michael Harms for coming on board. Michael is, I love Michael Harms and his family. His son Donald is quadriplegic that Michael and his wife Veronica adopted, and Michael runs with him. in his wheelchair. It's an amazing story. Great father and son. I did the Runner's World photo cover contest with those guys, and that's where I met him. So thank you guys for coming on board. Michael means the world to me, and thank you for your kind words. If anybody else has comments or questions or ideas, please send those along. I hope to finish recording my conversation with Jessica Vandenbush here real soon and get that up. Jessica and I had a interruption in our conversation, so I didn't get to finish that recording. But and then Franny had to reschedule our recording time, so I will have my recording with Franny Conte coming up real soon. Like I said, a bunch of other stuff, other ideas in the works. But once again, thank you guys so much for your time. If you have questions on anything I've gone over, like I said, don't hesitate to reach out. Until next time, my friends, keep running. Episode 59, MR Runningpains. Aaron Saft saying, see you next time.